I, 23 female, have a twin, Angela. Angela had leukemia as a child. She's been cancer-free since we were 10, thankfully. But since she was sick a lot as a child, I was basically invisible to our parents. Angela and I were still best friends then, but my parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles forgot I existed within that time. They sent me to a boarding school from age 8 to 14. I understood that they had to send me away when Angela was undergoing treatment and they couldn't take care of me. But it was excuse after excuse about why I couldn't come home for 4 years after Angela was cancer-free. Eventually, they brought me back when I was 14, but I was very antisocial at that point and just stayed in my room all the time. I spoke to Angela occasionally, but we weren't close anymore because we had been separated for a while. Last night, I was at my parents' house with my boyfriend. My parents showed my boyfriend the photo album of Angela and I as kids. I have some as a baby, but not much after the age of 2. My boyfriend asked if there was another photo album because he wanted to see what I looked like growing up. My mom said that there aren't any pictures of me, but he can just look at the pictures of Angela since we're identical, and that's the same thing. I got quite angry at this and said we're 2 separate people, and she should just say they weren't interested in taking photos of me when I was growing up because they had other things to worry about. But looking at Angela isn't a replacement of the pictures I don't have. My mom said I should have sent more pictures of myself while at boarding school so that she'd have stuff to show. I said, wow, one would think the responsibility of having pictures of a child growing up would be on the parents. When my boyfriend left, we had a bigger conversation about this. My mom said she felt like that earlier conversation showed that I resented her and my dad for that period when they were taking care of Angela. I admitted that I do kind of resent them for that, especially the part where they took 4 years to bring me back home after Angela wasn't sick anymore. My mom said that they reasoned that they felt like I was all settled there and having a good childhood, and they didn't want to disrupt my life by bringing me back. I was shocked to hear that and said, having a good childhood at a boarding school, far from home? Are you delusional? My mom has been crying since, and my dad is angry that I made her upset over something that happened so long ago. He said that I wouldn't understand how hard it was for them until I became a parent myself, and that I should apologize to my mom for talking to her like that. I admit my tone was harsh, but I don't think I said anything wrong. Am I the idiot? Definitely not the idiot. Your parents never took the time to ask you back then if you liked being at that school. How would they know about you being well settled in? They also didn't feel like they missed something of your life. Saying crap like, look at the picture of our other daughter, it's basically the same. Just shows how ignorant they are about your childhood. I wonder if emotionally they felt that way, that they didn't miss OP because they basically had the same child at home. Parents like this, who ignore the throwaway child and focus on the golden child, will fully expect throwaway to care for them in their old age. Dump them in a government care home and don't bother saying bye. They didn't care for you. Why should you care for them? A very important fact to consider is that they already had the same child at home. Good catch. OP, sometime, even before they sent you to boarding school, they had fewer photos of you and always favored her. This is further proof that they somehow favored her more than you. Are you in therapy? Maybe talk to someone about it, and don't let your family push you around like this. And if you become a parent yourself, you'll probably be even more like, how could they do this to me? Exactly. Your mom is crying because she knows you're right. She should have to sit in that discomfort. Above all, what reason was there to keep you at a boarding school for 4 years after your sister was well and the burden of caretaking was gone? Your dad knows it too. What you had there was a come to Jesus talk with your mom, telling her the truth. Let the dawning realization settle upon them both that it was a crap time for you and it alienated you from your family, and you are the product of their decision. I have 2 children, both boys. I'm currently pregnant with my 4th after a loss. My mother-in-law offered to be the gender keeper. She got the confetti cannons. This is my last pregnancy, so I wanted to do a small reveal with close family and friends. My last was during the global issue, and we had to skip all the cutesy things. I have 2 boys and, of course, would adore a little girl. I would also be happy to keep my boy mom crown. But wow, a little girl would just be so freaking sweet. We get to the cannons, and mother-in-law hands us both a cannon. My husband gets his to go first, and all I see is pink confetti. The sweetest surprise. My life with a daughter flashing in my mind, hugging my husband, tears shed. I was shaking happy. I'm always very calm and collected when I'm excited. My mom was crying too, happy for me. This was the biggest, best surprise I've ever had. I was expecting a 3rd boy. But soon after celebrating, my mother-in-law interrupted, telling me I have to do mine too. I was so excited to see the pink confetti from my husband's that I never set mine off. I assumed it was also pink because I'm not having twins, but instead it's blue. I instantly regret my initial ecstatic response. Why are there both colors now? She then hands us the real cannons, and they both pop blue. Of course, I can't match my previous energy. I hugged my husband and people around me and excused myself, and I cried, and I haven't really stopped for hours now. Don't get me wrong, I am so incredibly thankful for the opportunity to have any children, and I know health is number 1. That isn't lost on me, but it's as if I had this space and time where my dream of a daughter came true, and I experienced the joy of having a girl join my crazy boy-filled family, and now I'm grieving that. I know I'll love my son with all my heart, and I'm not upset he's a boy at all. It's just the roller coaster to find out. It broke my heart today. I feel like I'm an idiot for being so upset, but all this happened in front of an audience. I'm so embarrassed. And this happy video taken of the reveal isn't even real. It's a moment in time that I got my heart broken. I don't understand the humor. Even if everything had gone according to plan, what was the point? I don't find the humor or what the end goal was. Am I the idiot for being upset? I'm sorry, but that was either an intentionally cruel or wildly stupid choice from your mother-in-law. Because honestly, how else could that have really gone? You do the reveal, you react, and now you do it again? You had a real reaction to a fake situation. There's nothing left emotionally speaking, aside from feeling like the rug's been ripped from underneath you. I'm really sorry you had to go through that, and with an audience to boot. Give yourself some credit. You handled it as gracefully as possible. You didn't flip any tables or cuss anyone out, right? You are not the idiot. I'm very sorry you went through such an emotional ordeal and had your actual reaction taken from you. I hope you have a healthy, easy pregnancy and delivery. The newest little bean is going to be in very capable and loving hands. Your mother-in-law is the stupidest person on the planet. She was expecting you both to let cannons loose at the exact same time, have a bunch of confusion, and then give you the true cannons. It simply didn't occur to her that they would go off at different times. She simply didn't think it through. However, you made it through your gender reveal without starting a wildfire, so that's a win. I, 29 male, lost my mom in 2021, which left me, my dad, 56, and my brother, 30. I still live in our house. My brother left the house after his 26th birthday. My dad says if we move out, we're welcome to move back, and I reiterate that to my brother. He's found love, and we, Dad and I, love her. Well, a few nights ago, we had dinner and had them over. My brother asked my dad if, when he moved on, who would get the house. My dad said it's going to both of you. I'm okay with it, but my brother thinks it should go to him because he and his fiancée are trying to have a family. He said I could stay there, but I need to pay rent to him. I strongly disagree with this. I'm gay, so it's not likely for me to have a family unless I have a partner. My brother wants to move into the master bedroom and wants to make rooms to fit what he sees fit for his future family, such as making his old room into a kid's room, forming an office in the grandma's former room, and having a room for storage. Mind you, there were only 4 bedrooms in the house: master, his, old grandma, and mine. I waited till my dad left the room and his fiancée went to the restroom to talk to him. I told him, "Hey, what's up with you making plans for the house?" He said because he's the oldest, the house will automatically go to him. I told him no, he's not entitled to the house because he's older and dad is still alive, so he's got a while to wait. But I also said I have more right to the house because I still live there. And I told him I know everything about the house, where we pay for it, how much we pay. But he thinks because he's going to have a family, he deserves it. Am I wrong for telling him that? Holy crap, not the idiot. Your brother is a selfish piece of crap, in my opinion, who doesn't care about you. The audacity to say you'll have to pay rent. I would have resorted to violence immediately after he said that I was sorry. Screw your brother and make sure you make him pay you half the fair value of the house if he really wants it. The loser wants to start a family, but must rely on daddy's house. Your brother is being absurd. There's no way he should get the whole house because he's starting a family. It's quite rude to you and your father of him to be so presumptive. I would add that if he's planning on waiting out your father's life to secure home ownership, he's in for a rude awakening. Your father's only 56. If he lives to 80, your brother will be 55 when he finally owns the property. Not a great plan. The idea of waiting for a parent to die so you can get the inheritance is mind-boggling. Anyone like that should be left $1 in the will and nothing else. Does your brother understand that your dad could reasonably live another 40 years? Your brother needs to find his own place to live like a normal person. Tell your brother he's free to buy you out of the house after your dad dies in 40 years. Cheese and rice are the entitlement here. I don't even know what to say at this point. I, 25 female, and my husband, 27, have 1 child, Mila, female toddler, and I'm 23 weeks pregnant with my second. My husband comes from a long line of males, and it's a huge joke that his family's only ever had boys. He's one of 8, all of whom are boys. When I married him, we were 23 and 25. I gave up my dream of ever having a daughter. During our honeymoon, we conceived Mila. My mother-in-law was overjoyed and started buying all these boys' clothes and buying all these things for her grandson. At her 20-week scan, we find out we're having a girl. My husband and I were thrilled. My mother-in-law, not so much. She accused me of cheating, saying that no son of hers could produce daughters, saying I should at least get an abortion, seeing as it's the honorable thing to do. I didn't. She continued to make snarky comments about Mila. Well, we have not found out about our second. My mother-in-law was 100% certain it was a boy. Again, bought all the boy things. Then last week at our 20th week anatomy scan, we found out, of course, it's another girl. I thought she had been angry about Mila, but oh my goodness, she was angry now. She was calling me names and all these horrible things about me, right in my and my husband's faces, while playing with Mila. All I could do was pick Mila up and go home. We left, but she's been coming to our house every day, demanding that we go and speak to her. But quite frankly, I'm terrified. She won't drop the fact that I cheated on him and that Mila isn't her grandchild. She's demanding that we get a paternity test and prove that the baby is his. But I just really can't bear it right now. Am I the idiot for having a daughter and not doing a paternity test on her? Edit. Hubby's currently trying to find us a new place to live, so his mother can't find us. Are you really questioning if you're the idiot for having 2 daughters, or rather asking if you're the idiot for not wanting to have to prove to your mother-in-law that those kids are indeed your husband's? You're not the idiot in both cases, by the way. What's your husband doing about this? How long has he been looking for a new place? It's cheaper to get a court-ordered restraining order. You should both stay no contact with her until she learns to behave. I would like to know if you can play her game. Say you'll get both children tested, but she'll sign a contract. If she's wrong, because she's so sure she's correct, she'll buy you a new car, pay for the family to go to Disney, contribute to a college fund for each daughter in the amount of X money, make a public apology on social media or a public apology in the local newspaper. OP, be creative. Mother-in-law's delusional. No amount of physical proof will convince her. She'll accuse OP of faking the test results. The idea that a family can only produce one gender of child is ludicrous. There's no point in entertaining it. Honey, your monster-in-law sounds like one I used to have. Looney is a crap house rat. Good luck with that. I'm sorry, but your mother-in-law knows nothing about genetics. See, if I were petty, I would accuse the mother-in-law of cheating and having a son that only made girls. It doesn't make sense, but she doesn't know crap about genetics anyway. I hope the family is safe and you have no contact with her. My wife and I have always been open and never encountered issues with honesty and sharing about our past, so this was strange, in my opinion. She just went on a weekend getaway with her friends, some of whom she's close with and others she's met a handful of times. We were chatting when she got back about what they did, and she said one of the nights they played this Esther Perel game card. It's essentially a card game that gives prompts and encourages open and honest communication. It's for friends, couples, etc. I asked how that was, and she said, "Oh, good. We didn't play too many rounds, but it was fun." It asked like, what's the craziest place you've had intimacy? And what's one thing you did that you wouldn't want your kids to find out about? I laughed and said, "Oh man, what did you say for that one?" The second question. I assumed it'd be something from our previous conversations that was private and delicate, but she said, "Yeah, I'm keeping that one." I didn't hear her well because I was making dinner, so I said, "You're what?" She said, "Yeah, I'm not going to share that. That'll stay with me." Her tone wasn't serious, like it was something along those lines either, but just like, "Ha, yeah, I won't share that." I didn't really know what to say, so I kind of just brushed it off and continued on with making dinner. She asked if I was mad now, and I said, "I just think it's a little strange that you'd share something with a group of girls, some of whom you hardly know, but then not share it with the person you're closest to." She said, "It's not a big deal. It was back in high school, so it's nothing." From my perspective, this is a game meant for couples to work on open and honest communication. I felt kind of odd knowing she shared this with friends, some of whom are more acquaintances than friends, and immediately put the wall up with me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I'd go back to the convo and revisit it. Tell her precisely what you said here. You feel off about her reply. She played a game with friends, geared towards couples having a more open relationship and being truthful. Then she told you about it and let you think she would share. Instead, she let you know that she'd shared something intensely personal with friends she had no intention of telling you, her partner. That feels off because it is off. Tell her you're unhappy with her behavior and require a further explanation. Why would she do that? She said, "I've got a secret, and everyone but you knows." I don't think she'd like it. I'm assuming her craziest place she's at intimacy story doesn't involve you, so why did she even bring it up to you? That was unnecessary, and her behavior seems very childish. Very, "I have a secret, but I'm not telling you," middle school vibes. She could have told you about her trip without getting into the specifics of the card game prompts. Weird. Yeah, she handled this in the worst way possible, and she told him just enough to make his imagination run wild. He knows it involves something else, and she thinks it's bad enough that he shouldn't know. Why on earth even tell him the specific question just to keep the answer hidden? It is so much worse to give someone just enough to drive them mad. I hope to God that this man isn't already anxious at baseline. My anxiety's pretty bad, and if someone tells me, "We need to talk later," I spiral. This crap would send me over the edge, LOL.